Romeo and Juliet, by William Shakespeare, genre, drama, tragedy. Romeo and Juliet, a timeless tragic play penned by the renowned playwright William Shakespeare in the late 16th century, revolves around two star-crossed lovers whose deaths ultimately reconcile their feuding families. Set in Verona, Italy, this captivating tale explores themes such as the power of love, the inevitability of fate, and the destructive nature of violence. The play commences with a prologue, delivered by a chorus, providing a brief overview of the tragic events that will unfold. The chorus recounts the long-standing feud between the Montague and Capulet families and foreshadows the deaths of the titular characters, Romeo and Juliet, whose love will ultimately end the senseless violence between their kin. In the first act, we are introduced to the ongoing conflict between the Montagues and Capulets through a street brawl involving their servants. Prince Aeschylus, the ruler of Verona, intervenes and issues a stern warning, stating that any further violence will be met with severe consequences. Meanwhile, Romeo Montague, a lovesick youth, wallows in heartache over the unrequited love of a woman named Rosaline. Benvolio, his cousin, and Mercutio, his witty and sarcastic friend, persuade him to attend a masked ball hosted by the Capulets, hoping that he might find a new love interest there. During the ball, Romeo and Juliet lock eyes and experience love at first sight. Unaware of each other's identities, they share a passionate dance and exchange a tender kiss. Only later do they learn of their tragic circumstances, realizing that they are offspring of feuding families. The lovers are left devastated, but their love remains undeterred. In the famous balcony scene, Juliet professes her love for Romeo, who has been secretly listening. The couple exchanges heartfelt vows and makes a bold decision to marry in secret, hoping that their union will mend the rift between their families. Friar Lawrence, a wise and compassionate priest, agrees to perform the clandestine ceremony, sharing their hope for reconciliation. On the day of their wedding, a chance encounter between Tybalt, Juliet's fiery cousin, and Mercutio leads to a heated altercation. Tybalt's aggression results in Mercutio's untimely death. Overwhelmed with grief and anger, Romeo confronts Tybalt and kills him in a duel. This violent act leads to Romeo's banishment from Verona by Prince Aeschylus. Juliet is devastated by the loss of her cousin and the banishment of her new husband. Her parents, oblivious to her secret marriage, plan to wed her to Count Paris, a wealthy and well-connected suitor. Desperate to avoid this marriage and be reunited with Romeo, Juliet seeks counsel from Friar Lawrence. He devises a risky plan. Juliet will drink a potion that will induce a death-like sleep, making her family believe she has passed away. Meanwhile, Romeo, informed of the plan by a message from the friar, will return to Verona, and together they will escape after Juliet awakens. Tragically, fate intervenes, and Romeo never receives the message explaining the ruse. Instead, he hears of Juliet's apparent death from a well-meaning but uninformed friend. Heartbroken, Romeo acquires a potent poison and makes his way to Juliet's tomb, intending to join her in death. At the tomb, he encounters Paris, who has come to mourn his would-be bride. The two engage in a fierce duel, resulting in Paris's death. Determined to be with Juliet for eternity, Romeo drinks the poison and dies by her side. Moments later, Juliet awakens from her slumber to find Romeo's lifeless body beside her. Distraught and overcome with grief, she takes Romeo's dagger and, in a final act of devotion, stabs herself, dying alongside her beloved. When Friar Lawrence arrives at the tomb, he is too late to prevent the tragic events. The watchmen, alerted by the sounds of the duel, call for the Montagues and Capulets to witness the harrowing scene. Confronted with the lifeless bodies of their children, the families are forced to confront the consequences of their bitter feud. In the play's final moments, Prince Aeschylus admonishes both families for their relentless hatred, which has led to the untimely deaths of their children. Stricken with grief and remorse, the Montagues and Capulets vow to end their feud and forge a new, peaceful bond between their families. In a gesture of unity, Lord Montague and Lord Capulet agree to commission golden statues of their deceased children, serving as a reminder of the high price paid for their reconciliation. Throughout Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare masterfully weaves a riveting plot filled with passion, romance, and tragedy. The intense love between the young protagonists is a poignant reminder of the power of love in the face of adversity. Additionally, the play explores the destructive impact of senseless violence and the ultimate consequences of allowing enmity to rule over compassion and understanding. In the end, the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet is a cautionary tale that transcends time, reminding audiences of the importance of empathy, forgiveness, and love in overcoming generations of hatred and division. The play remains a beloved classic and a testament to the enduring genius of William Shakespeare.